car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Rao, and this week I want to feature a build of mine here of a 1958 Thunderbird. Now, if you've been on my channel a while and you've seen that the other Thunderbirds I built, I have mentioned that I'm very fond of Thunderbirds and they're pretty personal to me, and this is the most personal of all of them. And it's mainly because my dad has 5 of them. And this one is the closest to his main original one. Although my dad doesn't have any convertibles, this one is a convertible. So I did it in this configuration, this color combo, because his 58 that he's had the longest was originally this color combo. Now, growing up in 80s and getting my driver's license in 1989, actually the end of 1989, I took my driver's test in his 59 Thunderbird. And I liked driving his 58 Thunderbird because it was faster than the 59 Thunderbird, but highway cruiser speeds, not off the line between the two. Only because his two cars, they've all had 352 engines in all of them, but the 58 still had its 4-barrel, and it had its Cruise-O-Matic and its highway gears, which I think was a 305 or 308 rear end or something like that. It was real low threes. I'd have to look up the codes. And this 59 T-Bird, it had California emissions, and it had a 2-barrel on it, and I don't think the 2-barrel was original, but that's what was on it. And that one could go like 95, maybe 100 miles an hour. I mean, I was a stupid kid, and his 58 would go like 120 on the highway in a straight line. Now, I know now, but I didn't think about it back then, was you cruising this car at those speeds and you're driving a missile. You're not turning, you're not stopping. You know, if something gets in your way, you're just going to hit it. And these cars, they're great cruisers. They're a lot of fun. They float. I enjoyed driving them when he did let me drive them. Now, the station wagon was my mom's. I bought that. But my dad still has these T-Birds. But his original one, he bought in 1963, 62, 63. And it's white base with the teal top, like I did on this one. And the teal and white interior. So I dressed this one up in the color combos of his original car. Although years later he didn't like that combo, so a good chunk of its life he had switched it where the bottom half was teal and the roof was white. And he had it that way for many years, and then he repainted it back to white. It's had many paint jobs. Matter of fact, the first paint job I ever did was actually helping him paint the 59 T-Bird blue, and we did that for my high school senior year, and I used it for prom. But so I have a lot of affection for these cars, and I just love them as cruisers and their unique styling, because growing up with them and driving them around, nobody had one of these. It was just, they're not popular. Even today, they're not very popular. You don't really see a whole lot of Squarebirds, these 58 through 60s. So for me, it was a unique car, and like I said, my dad still has them. Matter of fact, one of the 58s was supposed to be mine. He's got 3 58s, which is the rarest one, a 59 and a 60, all hardtops. But he usually only has 2 or 3 that run at one time. Now, unfortunately, his original 58, he was involved in an accident in like 1992, 93 that wrecked the front end. It went into the backyard. It could have been fixed. He bought the third 58 to cut the front end off, because all of this is welded. There is no seams. If you look at one of these real cars, it's a unibody car. It's a real unibody car. It's sculpted. And even if you swap the hoods, sometimes the fitting, like even on this model kit, has a gap here. And this, the car, all the sheet metal is fitted and leaded in. There's lead seams all over the car. So the fenders do not come off. None of the front comes off. You know, the headlight bezels come off, but I mean, it's sculpted. It's painted as one chunk. The doors will come off, and there's some panels up here that come off. I mean, I know these cars pretty well. If you take the hood off of one car and put it on another, you might have to do some fitting, because They were pretty much hand built for the most part, and quality control wasn't all that great, but we're talking the 50s. But these were done on assembly line along with the Lincolns at the time, which were also unibody built and true unibody structure. So there's a lot of interesting features about this car, and I've got a lot of memories and stories of driving them around and what we went through and what we did. But when it comes to this model kit build, if you're looking at it and you notice some things are a little bit different or strange, this is not a monogram kit. As you know, the monogram kit is a convertible also, but it has the hard top, not the convertible top. This convertible top is actually AMT. It comes in the 65 Thunderbird kit. And I searched these out, and I've gathered 3 of them. I got 165 that has it, and then I've got this turquoise one, and I also have one that I painted white. And I could swap them between all the different convertibles. So I've got 3 convertible tops I can swap around. And if you know this one's an AMT and you're looking at it closely, AMT didn't actually make a 1958 Thunderbird model kit. They did a 58 promo, and I believe it was hardtop only. The 59 they did the promo and the 60 promo. So they did the promos, and I believe they were available in both convertible and hardtop as promos. But the model kits, they had a 59 kit, which I have a restored one on my channel. I did in black, convertible. They did have a hardtop kit. And then they also had a 60 hardtop and a 60 convertible kit. I've built both of those, although on my channel I featured the 60 hardtop and I cut a sunroof in it. It's red. So that's on my channel if you want to look for that one. But they did not do a 58. For me to make a 58, oh, and another thing, the 59 was curbside, had no engines. The 60s had engines. So you could open this up. So let me get this hood open. I get a little nervous because it does stick. There it goes. So there's the engine and the hinges. You can just twist it. Finding these hinges are really difficult. I had to resin cast these because I had like a one set. But this one's got the 352 in it. And I painted it like a 58. Black valve covers, blue engine, white air cleaner, and white fan, which is correct for the 58 Thunderbird. Got the washer bottle and all the details. But that's pretty much right out of the 60 kit. It comes with that. Now the radiator's a little far back, but that's the way the model kit was made. And I think that was to clear the hood. You can see the other side of it. But none of that I've actually changed. Now, the 60 interior is different from the 58 interior. But this is really a 59 interior tub, which is exactly the same as a 58 as far as the model kit goes. Now, there's some differences. 58 Thunderbirds have black gauges. So if you see the gauges are black, that's correct for 58. And then black on the radio, the knobs are black, and then the AC down there has black. 59 and 60, the gauges are different. They're white gauges. And 60 has silver bezels on the inside, 59 has gold bezels. And then all the knobs are white on 59s and 60s, but 59s have gold inserts on the knobs and 60s have white inserts on the knobs. But the 59 interior is pleated exactly like the 58, so the door panels and everything else are the same. So that's why I used a 59's interior tub, because as far as how it's molded, it's exactly the same, and I didn't have to change anything. I just had to detail paint it. And the power window buttons right here are black on a 58 and white on 59 and 60s. So I know the car as well, so I detailed this one out really nicely. Now there's some things I did add. The antenna back here, which was an option, I added it to this one. I believe that came from one of the monogram Impalas. And the bumpers are 58, so it says 1958. They're actually Model Haas copies. So the taillights are resin, the bumper is resin, and those are Model Haas. The wheels are resin, and then so are the tires. All Model Haas. These Fender Ornaments, 59 and 60, they're pretty much the same shape. The actual inserts are a little bit different. 59s are black with the bird emblem. 58s are white with the gold sphere in the middle of them. So I painted this one to kind of look like that, but Model Haas makes the basic thing, or made, I should say. So I did add those from Model Haas. The promo did not have those. And then the 58 front bumper, which is another Model Haas copy. All of those parts were copied right off of the promo. The glass is vacuum formed from Model Haus. So Model Haus donated, or not donated, I purchased Model Haus items to convert all of the trim to 58. Now the thing I had to do left was, since I had so many of these that I was restoring, I had a 60 that had no emblems on it. They were all sanded off. So I'm like, alright, that would be a perfect body to do what I want to do here. Matter of fact, this bumper's sliding, so move it forward. To make the 58. And I had a 59 interior, so I had all the parts, so I had to buy all of the Model Haus parts to do this. So the only thing that left was I needed the door chevrons here, and I needed the Thunderbird script on the fenders, because those are unique to 58. And I also had to change the front bird emblem. 58 and 59s have this emblem, and 60s have a different emblem, and then the trunk emblem. So I had to add the emblems. They were both sanded off, but the 61s were different and would have needed to be sanded off anyway. So those are actually foil cast. What I did, thanks to Harold, I'll show some photos here. There's a promo that he had, and if you see the $85 sticker price on it, I believe he had it for sale. I'm not sure if that's what he paid for it or what he was asking for it, because he's had it at shows, but he loaned it to me, and I foil casted these emblems, which is where you take a piece of aluminum foil, and I have a photo of that as well, where you can kind of see a group shot, but this car is in the middle, and I'm using aluminum foil, rubbing it on there to make an impression of the emblems, and then you flip the foil over. I put a drop of super glue in there, fill the emblem with super glue, let it harden, and then I cut the foil out all around the emblem and then glue it to the body. So that's how I did the bird emblems front and rear, all on the door, and the Thunderbird script on the front fender. And I do plan to do a video on how to do that in one of my builds when I actually get to that point, on one of my next ones. But it worked out really well, and this one ended up being a pretty easy build to do at the time. Now this one's pretty old now. I think it was like 10 years ago when I finished this one, but I'm very proud of it, and it's very unique. And the chassis isn't really much to brag about. It's a screw chassis. This is the chassis right from the 60 Thunderbird with the engine, and I just painted it like a 58. 59 and 60 engines are black, not blue. And then the valve covers are different colors. So if you see my 60 video, this one has black valve covers and blue engine, and the 60 has yellow valve covers and a black engine. Those are correct for the years. Okay, one little thing that I forgot to mention when I flipped this over and was showing you the underside of it. Now, a 58 Thunderbird. Now, I used the chassis from the 60 Thunderbird, and those of you who know your Thunderbirds, the 58, and if you've seen the monogram kit, does not have leaf springs. It has a 4-link system with the arms there and coil springs in the back. Not really a 4-link, it's more of just the 2, but it has coil springs. Now I did not change this. This is the leaf springs that 59s and 60s had. 58's kind of a 1-year only rear suspension. So I didn't replicate that, I left that alone. But just wanted to mention that also in my build, because I skipped over that real quick. And you know, there was the thought that air ride was available in some of the 58 Fords, but it didn't make it into the Thunderbird, and I understand that's one of the reasons why the 58 had coil springs all the way around in all 4 corners, and that the front shocks were actually relocated outside of the spring for 58, and inboard was available, so you could put 4 shocks on the front of a 58. But in 59 and 60, the control arms and the brackets for the outboard shocks were removed, changed, and only the inboard shocks were on the front control arms and springs. That's for 59 and 60. So it's just kind of a unique feature of the 58s, but it's not replicated in the model kit. And since the promo had a plain metal chassis, which you'll see in the other photos, AMT did not replicate that when they did theirs. So the 58 promo had no chassis, it was a metal plate, and 59 and 60 had this chassis, which is correct for those. So I just wanted to point that out as the only real inaccuracy with this particular build. But I figure that's enough babbling on about this one, but I'll throw some pictures at the very end of this of some of my build things, and throw some of my dad's cars pictures in there as well. So enjoy the little slideshow at the very end of this, and thank you for tuning in and subscribing, and I appreciate all of your comments. And you guys, you have a wonderful day, and thank you for letting me babble on about one of the cars that I just really personally appreciate. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful weekend.